Mahari's back. What's up, guys? Mahari's back.
We made it. We made it.
Man.
We made it.
Back in the game. It's been a minute. If you've been watching the channel for a while, you saw him on the concealed carry tips you need to know. That was the first video we did together. And now we're back. We're talking about, what, AR techniques?
Yeah, so pretty much low ready, just going over the simple stuff, keeping it super, super simple and slow. When you first buy your first rifle, you need to be slow. That's the name of the game for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Because, you know, we see a lot of people come in the range and there's a lot of stuff going on. So watch this video, take these tips, and practice with intent. All right, cool. So we're going to talk techniques. So when we first get a rifle, what are some of the first things that we want to do with it?
First thing is learning how to clear and show clear. Being able to utilize a charging handle. That's the first thing. Being safe. Safety is always first. You don't want to shoot a finger off in front of your wife. It's very embarrassing, or anybody else. So you definitely want to be able to show clear, utilize a charging handle, right? And you want to be able to be familiar with all the buttons on the gun. When you first get a rifle, I know my first rifle, I didn't know anything. My dad had to show me how to properly hold and carry and how to respect the rifle. So the first thing I want to teach you is how to respect the rifle. So right now, there's no magazine in there. Obviously, you're pulling the charge handle back, you're showing clear. Now, if you want to keep it open like that, there's a button on the left side. Show you guys like that. You engage that while that charge handle is all the way extended, and then you'll feel that slack, that tension release, and then you can push it forward just like this, and you're showing clear now, right?
Nice.
So after that, what I want to cover are the safety switches. Now, this one isn't my gun because the fire ass intro that we did, my gun blew up a little bit because of the back pressure, but the safety selectors, everybody's a little bit different. If you have a ambi safety, then it'll show on both sides. You'll be able to utilize that and play with it. This one is only on one side, so I can show you guys that way. And this is how you utilize that. So to fire, you don't want that. You want to be on safe. This is what you need to be familiar with before you're shooting, right? So I always recommend to anybody that's a new shooter, you should be dry firing before you ever send a live round down the range. So safety selector. Next, we also want to get familiar with the stock. Everybody's arm reach is a little bit different. So if you got short arms, not naming any names, you want to choke it down a little bit. And if you got long arms, you got long reach, you want to extend it out. The whole reason for that is when we get into our C-clamp. Now, I'm a C-clamp guy. If you have a foregrip on your gun and you want to hold it like that, you can. I can't guarantee that people aren't going to laugh at you. I'm a C-clamp guy, so that's what I'm going to show. But you see right here, right, I don't have a lot of slack on my sling right now. So what I want to do, I either want to release it a little bit or I want to extend my stock, right? But either way, once you find that comfortable spot, you want to be able to hold your gun like this in a comfortable spot before even putting your trigger hand on the gun. This is what ensures that your C-clamp is tight and right before you're shooting, because that's going to help you stabilize. All of that is going to help you stabilize, because when you start having fun on the gun like this, all the other stuff falls out the window, right? Especially if you're a new shooter. So you want to focus on the fundamentals first.
And a tip that I got it from a guy named Paul. When you have the stock, when you're trying to figure out that placement, I'll see a lot of guys, they'll have that chicken wing going on, and they'll have the stock like here, but their body's here, and they're just kind of leaning and looking. And I really like how Paul, he has a YouTube channel called Thunderpunk Ranch. But Paul says, put your thumb to your nose, bring it over 2 inches, come down, that's where the stock should go.
That's nice, that's a good tip.
Yeah, I was like, hey, that's quick and easy.
Tip right there, that is quick and easy.
Yeah, if we can speed it up for people, then we always do that. And then people will still try to come down to it, but it's like, you just put the stock there, and then you go, push your neck forward, and then just rest it on the stock. So like, you can show them, bam, putting it in your,
just like this.
Yep, and then he's just resting his face on the stock. He's not trying to find it. So that's what we want right there. Awesome. So like what I like to show people is basic, like what you were saying, safety switch. What are some ways that you would present the gun, some different ready positions that you would present the gun while using the safety switch?
Absolutely. So you've got a low ready, which I'm already in, right? So we're safe now. Once you present the firearm up, now you're ready to shoot. If you go high ready, regardless of what, you just got to get used to it. Once you actually start taking that safety part, the safety consideration serious, it should be second nature. Like before you're even pulling the trigger, you should be manipulating the safety switch all the time. My dad, when we built my first gun, he made sure that I did it at least 1,000 times before I ever shot my first rifle. That's military guy, yeah. So he beat it into my brain. So I'm just gonna carry that on to y'all. So, so the safety selector, it's a serious deal though, because as you get a sling and you start getting more nonchalant and the ego grows, right? You get a gun, you get a couple guns under your belt, a couple builds under your belt, and you think that you're a superhero until you shoot yourself or you shoot somebody else, unfortunately. God forbid. But that's why the safety considerations are so important. So as we're utilizing our safety selectors, you go high ready, up like this, safety selectors on. Low ready, safety selector. Every time you go up, it should be utilized. Every time. Yeah, that's number one. That's probably most important, to be honest.
All right, so what about stance? How are we gonna hold it?
So stance for me, I was taught is just like a street fight. I'm a southpaw guy anyway, so I'm gonna have my right hand, my lead hand up. That's how I split my stance. Now it should be super athletic. You don't have to be super out wide. It should be just an athletic stance. So if you've never played a sport before, this should be your first time getting an athletic stance. It's fine, but this is how I was taught. Strong base. Though it doesn't matter what caliber gun that you're shooting. If you're shooting a 10mm pistol, you're shooting .308, or God forbid anything more than that, you need to have a strong base. That's probably the most important thing. So as we utilize our stance and then our techniques, C-clamp, whatever you want to call it, whatever you want to use, your base is going to be really important. It should all go together. It should all flow together. So here you got your C-clamp. I haven't even gotten my trigger hand on the gun yet. Everything should be good. So if you're somebody, if this is comfortable for you and you want to shoot like that, that's fine. If you want to switch it, you can do that as well. And you want to shoot like that, that's fine. Again, safety selectors are important, but as you're going through this, everything will be second nature. It just depends on how much you're actually training it. This one video is not gonna beat it into your brain. So I would play it 100 times and just to do that.
Yeah, play it 100 times so we can get those watch hours.
Yeah, we need it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, the stance is super important. Athletic, not too wide. Somebody should be able to bump you and you should be able to stabilize pretty easily. So go ahead and tap my shoulder, something like that. Okay, yeah, that's much better than being on the range like this and then somebody tap your shoulder. Now everything is all out of sync, all out of whack. So you definitely want to be as strong and as stout as possible with your stance without getting too wide.
Yeah, and so in the intro, you were moving, you weren't even just standing still.
I wasn't.
So what I like to tell people is, find something, like what Mahari's telling y'all, find something where you're comfortable and you can sustain that for a while and focus on getting the reps of being safe, safety switch on, safety off, stuff like that. But then it's not gonna matter because you're gonna end up doing both. Mahari can't walk if he's only practiced in this stance.
Yeah.
So you wanna get good with both.
Yeah, you definitely want to, you don't want to be off platform often, but you gotta understand how your body works and the space that you're moving in. But for the sake of this video, we're just talking about rifle. This basic stance, super stout, balanced, strong is what you need, especially as you implement the shoulder and your lead hand into holding your rifle.
Love it. So let's get some drills. How are we going to load this gun? And then when we load it, and, you know, we're beginning using our rifle in the range, what are like some basic drills that we could do?
Basic drills, obviously we're on an open range, so it's a little bit different than you going and paying to get your own lane. First thing first, make sure that you're in a safe direction, right? So the RSSOs are gonna be on the range over your shoulder, probably breathing on your neck, making sure you don't, you know what I'm saying, blow yourself up or anybody else. So one, you wanna make sure that it's clear. Okay, I know that it's clear. Next thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna keep it in a safe area, right? Bullets go out the muzzle, so you want them to face that way. The only reason why I say that is because I've been on the range where people put them in backwards. I've
for sure.
It happens.
Every day. That happens every day.
So I can't not talk about it. But the next part, right, when you're putting the magazine into the weapon system, when you're putting it in there, a tap and a pull, you should be fine. It's probably gonna happen to you regardless. Where you're going to shoot, you feel cool, finally got my first rifle, and before you shoot, you hear a click, and then the whole magazine falls out under you. That's very embarrassing as well. So all of that stuff plays a part, but when you're putting this magazine in, bam, tap, pull, it's secure. Obviously there's not a round in, ready to go yet. Next part, you're pulling that charge handle, hear a click, just let it go. It shouldn't be as soft, it should be as hard as possible. You want that bolt to sit properly. Now after that, safety switch is on safe right now. Fingers should always be off the trigger until you're ready to shoot. So low ready, up, safety selector is on, you're ready to one shot, safety, back on, down, right, okay. High ready, it should be the same thing. So even if you're at a low ready or a high ready, the safety, the technique with the safety selector doesn't matter. It does not matter. It should be the same. So it shouldn't change at all. So high ready, safety's on, one shot, safety back, and we're back down, right? So it shouldn't change. The technique is the same. Once you get your trigger finger grip into a consistent, comfortable spot, and you're running these reps, again, it should be second nature. So low ready again. Safety should be manipulated every single time, every single time. I kick myself sometimes because when we're running drills, you think you're a superhero. Once you know that your ego grows, and it's, when you buy your first rifle, your ego is going to inflate just a little bit. Then you get a couple bullets under your belt, and it's gonna inflate even more until something bad happens, right? So all of us have those horror stories we don't wanna talk about, but my job, we get in front of a camera explaining to you guys how important the safety is.
Yeah, and to add to that, you know, a handgun, clear, a handgun, you can cover the trigger guard. So I don't need a manual safety on this Glock. It already has internal safeties anyway. It's drop safe, whatever. It could be loaded, one in the chamber.
Yeah.
I could throw the gun on the ground, which I'm not going to do because I paid $700 for this thing. But if that happened, it wouldn't go off. When I put it in this holster, watch it go in, the trigger guard is covered. You're not putting a rifle in a holster.
Right.
So you're at some point, like you saw how Mahari was moving around, what if we're together? You know what I'm saying? What if we're walking through anywhere together, be a hallway, whatever.
Yep.
That rifle is pointed at something all the time.
All the time.
So you have to get good with the safety switch. If you don't learn how to use the safety switch, you shouldn't be using the rifle.
Correct. So I mean, as the safety aspect of it, and it just depends. If you're on this video, then I'm sure you're gonna start falling down that rabbit hole, and soon enough you're gonna have a plate carrier sweeping your house when your wife is pissed off. What are you doing? So if me and him are in a room and we're in a stack together, a low ready, high ready, regardless of what, depending on how advanced you are, but even if you're the most advanced, if you're a tier 1 operator, those guys, it's beaten to their brain for sure, the safety selectors. So for you and I, the safety, it shouldn't be a question. So that's the fundamentals of it. So that's the foundation. And then you can get into moving and dynamic movement and how to low ready, high ready, how to manipulate and how to go into rooms. I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves, but I know it's coming because it happened to me. A couple YouTube videos, and yeah, you're jumping out windows and stuff. So getting a foundation first to keep all you guys safe.
All right, so this is a good fundamentals video. Get good with your rifle. Like Mahari said, dry. I mean, all the stuff that he did, he's technically shooting even without firing a bullet. When you're shooting the bullet, it's just all about, you know, the muzzle rise, recoil mitigation, follow-up shot, stuff like that. But all the movements of the low ready, high ready, getting really good with that safety switch, you can practice that at home. You have any other final thoughts?
I mean, hey, dry fire it's actually fun. It really
fun.
is. Yeah, you kind of feel like a psychopath after a while, but the best way to practice is to practice without anything on the line. So before your heart starts pumping, but before you have all the extracurriculars, outside factors, being able to just practice in your house. Just what I do, you turn the TV on and anything in the background, you just work on manipulating your weapon, and that'll build that neurological pathway into getting that stuff to be muscle memory. So I know I'm using double point Scrabble words, but it's important. It's important.
All right, cool, man. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you having me.
Look, Mahari's gonna be back a lot.
Oh yeah, I'm here to stay. I'm here to stay.
We'll see you on the next one. Like, comment, subscribe. Roll mine.
Appreciate y'all.
Did you catch that?
I did. Was that on video?
Oh yeah, we gotta add that.